welcome to all of you to the Economic Times Promising Brand Summit 2015. Now, if we evaluate the Indian market, it definitely looks different from what it was 20 years ago. Back then, what we had was few good products, and choosing between them depended much on the simpler factors such as quality, price, and availability. And with new brands coming into the market every day, only those that can live up to what they promise to deliver stay on. Today, it's all about celebrating such brands that came through in the market in or after the year 2000, and though relatively young, have created a distinct identity for themselves. Ladies and gentlemen, on that note, it's also time to set the stage for the panel discussion, and we're joined by our esteemed panel members. The panel discussion, in fact, will focus on the theme, Be Distinct or Be Extinct, Innovations Leading to Brand Loyalty. Okay, so let's have an enthusiastic round of applause, ladies and gentlemen, for our esteemed set of panel members. I'm going to hand over the proceedings to Mr. Sam Balsara.
I have seen that most brands generally have a lot of success whenever they have taken, if I may use the word, risk of doing something a little different. I would urge each one of you to try and be distinct in your businesses. Don't be afraid of failure. I think generally the bigger failure or the bigger risk is if you do the ordinary what 10 other guys have already done. It's less of a risk in India today, at least, to try and be different and chart your own path. So let me start with the only lady member we have with us. Elsie has treaded many new paths in the past, and I'd like her to tell us in her own words how being different works.
Many years ago when I started the agency, I was only 30 years old at that time. We had one mission, is that, there were so many big giant agencies around. Everybody was there, O&M. But our real mission was we just choose 5 good clients in the first year, and we do such good work for them which is unique and distinct that we did not have to pitch for business for the next 10 years. So that's really when you think about each client so carefully and advise them on their needs and concentrate on that. I think that what you do also strategically as well as creatively, if you do it differently, all your brands will, become bigger, and your clients become bigger, and you acquire more clients purely by that. And I think that's what we try to do to different brands, whether it was Bisleri, which is, I'll give you a simple example. For Bisleri, the market was full of blue bottles. Everything was blue. Even Bisleri was blue. It was the same blue everywhere. And all that we did, we did a lot of advertising. We did a lot of, stuff, the trucks, the billboards, everything was done. But once we advised Ramesh to change the color to an aqua green, we said your market is saturated. You have so many people who are copying your bottle and doing the same green, a blue bottle. Why don't we change the category code? Simple change like a color green. We didn't do any advertising to support it. The brand just almost doubled the next year. With that color change, made the whole brand so distinct, made everything, we didn't have to say it. It just looked different. So that's really, shall I say, innovating for a brand, but taking all their strong points and bringing it forward to the consumer, which was very well accepted.
I think I'm next going to ask Alok. He came up in those days, I remember, with something that sounded totally bizarre. So I don't think Alok needs any convincing on the need to be different. But if you do, then let's listen to Alok.
When I started, this was 98, I said, how can I get the Sam Balsaras and the LCs and everybody else, the Fortune 500 brands in India, to work with me on a platform that was trivialist and frivolous called contesting. And I think the one single piece of innovation that I would say grace, was I gave it away free. And when everybody came on board, lo and behold, the original plan was, it was not brands who would fund this company, it would be venture capital. And when venture capitalists said, how many brands have you signed? And I said, 300. They said, you're lying. He said, we've never come across someone who has signed 300 brands of the world in 18 months. So the point is that even pricing can be deterred, deferred, and your value can come from someone who was not originally supposed to pay you. So that's one lesson. The other thing is even more interesting. You know, we were sitting in Sony Entertainment. Sony Lula was the head of Sony that time. And he called us and he said, you know, guys, you guys have a lot of SMS and mobile knowledge. There's a show coming to town called the Indian Idol. So his long table sitting with the American Idol team. And this guy said, you know, we're supposed to brief you on this program. So Mr. Kejriwal, tell me, how many people do you think, they showed us a little clip of the American Idol and they said, this is going to happen in India. How many people do you think will vote for an Indian Idol? So I said, sir, 10,000. This guy fell off his chair and he said, you know, let me share with you, more Americans vote for their American Idol than they vote for their American president. I said, okay, we signed up. So here's the shocker, right? The first season of Indian Idol, 3 people singing, dancing on stage, we registered 1 crore votes and we generated 3 crore revenue for a business that never ever was supposed to exist. And that began the SMS mobile revolution. And you know, you can be free, you can be priced, you can expect consumers to pay, you cannot expect them to pay. There's a world out there which is, you know, gone crazy. And I think don't just leave all the concepts behind. That's what I call it mental demolition. Just demolish your mind every day.
So let's hear from Prashant how a successful business model by a corporate house has been created through the restaurant business. Because I think until recently, restaurants were created by individual entrepreneurs who were chefs or traditional kind of businessmen.
I come from an industry which possibly from a production to a consumer emotion is the shortest time frame. In our industry, it's very variable also because the employees who produce and give it out have different mood swings also in the part of the day as well. So there's a lot of variation that comes in our restaurants. A lot of emotions get really flowed out. So we also from an industry which possibly has the highest closure rate as well. I mean, so we were trying to pitch in for a restaurant which was supposed to be a sports bar, and we wanted to be really different from the rest of the sports bar. Sports bar over there at that point of time were also a little disillusioned in some form or the other. I mean, so when we went and pitched to try opening a restaurant brand in India, which was about a football team, the first reaction from them was that why would somebody in India follow Manchester United? I mean, there are lots of fans, of course. It's undoubtedly the fan following is huge. But something that's not daily for a country that was cricket crazy, why would somebody go to a restaurant which is purely built around the philosophy of football? That was one of the big questions they asked us. And second is, they asked us that how would you get people to come into your place? The pitch that I gave them at that point of time was that Manchester United is almost a 120-year-old brand, and for somebody who knows football, it has its own stadium in Manchester, which is called the Old Trafford. So my pitch to them was that what we're going to do is we're going to take Old Trafford into multiple locations, because Old Trafford is one. We obviously cannot have everyone flying into Old Trafford to watch Manchester United matches, so we would like to bring Old Trafford into multiple locations. So what we did was we built giant screens. The first outlet that came up at Palladium had a 30-feet screen, which was unheard of in terms of restaurant space, first of all. We used a little bit of technology over there as well, where we used anamorphic lenses. We learned how screens could be made large. I mean, from a restaurant business, it was like really different from a thought process that people were happy earlier with just one television or one small screen. And that kind of built a huge amount of change because when we opened Manchester United Cafe Bars in India, the biggest USP that we brought in was we brought Old Trafford. The idea of building large screens was that you were sitting in the stadium. When you sat in the stadium, you had a very large view of the entire stadium. So when you sat inside the restaurant, it gave you a large amount of the view of the entire football experience. But what we saw was whenever Manchester United match used to happen, we were barely about, the restaurant space was about 2,200 square feet. We used to have about 600, 700 people outside our gate every time a Manchester United match used to happen. And all of them wanted to get inside because also what we did was we recorded live chants or we got Manchester United to give us live songs from the stadium and play them while the game was going on. So people actually felt that they were sitting inside a stadium. So that really changed the game as far as sports bar. Of course, now today, everyone seems to have some form of technology, so much even the telephone has it. You can watch your favorite match on TV, on a mobile phone. But that was one of the things that changed the horizon and landscape of, we still do well as far as all our locations are concerned, and we're trying to now redo this entire into another format that will be a game changer as well.
Okay, let's now come to Arvind. Arvind has built a 3,000 crore business in 2 years. So
it's not out of smuggling though.
something.
Sit on this panel with you, Arvind.
So that kind of shocked me. So I don't think any one of us with much smaller businesses should get daunted by Arvind. I think instead we should get inspired by Arvind. So Arvind, inspire us.
This was about exactly 2008 when I went home and told my parents I want to start my own business. So I started consulting people and I started giving advice. It was a very nice business because you were giving advice and you're getting paid for it. But slowly, a consultant's role, which somebody told me a couple of years later, is like a castrated bull. So that's where consulting went to the dogs. So what do you do next? So I tied up with one of my clients and started doing some work. And this is the time that I wanted to be in the mobile space. And from 2008 onwards, you had about 278 mobile brands. So I think in 2012, I was just sitting one of these days and I had this friend of mine who'd come in from China. So I said, William, that's his name. So why don't we do our own brand? So 2 months hence I get a call. He says, brother, I'm coming to India. Can we do our own brand? I said, yeah, let me think about it. So we, on a tissue paper, and we made a joint venture and started it. So then the journey started about, now the whole idea about, what was the innovation? I was very, very clear that, the way the mobile business is going, you would have smartphones coming in. And at that point of time, if I told somebody I wanted to sell a brand from China at about 20,000 bucks at an average selling price of about 8,000 rupees, somebody said, you've gone mad. Yeah. So my idea was very simple, that you position yourself between the MNC brands and the Indian brands, and you have something valuable to offer, you'll get there. So I went to 10 distributors who'd worked with me throughout my life. So I went to them, I said, let's do some business. So end of the day, after about scouting around for about a month and a half with one Chinese guy who had almost got demotivated. One fine day, all these guys called me to a restaurant. They said, listen, from you we've done a lot of, we've earned a lot from you. So we've decided that, you're obstinate. So we've decided that we will put $3.5 million in the business and place our first order. And today, by the grace of God, my monthly shipments are about $30 million. So first year saw us do a business of about 500 crores. This year will be about 2,750. And I still don't sell in a Delhi, Bombay. So our strategy has been totally non-metro. Our strategy has been totally on being very, very pushy with the trade. We've cut down on layers of trade and hence funded people inside shops. So while I sit over here, you might find it's a fly-by-night operator business, but that's not the case. I mean, today in this business, I have about 6,000 people deployed in shops. who sell for me. So we kept the business model very asset light. So end of the day, what I'm really trying to say is we've remained very, very focused on the gap that we saw in the market. So it's about spotting a trend early. From day one, we were very, very clear that the internet revolution is going to be heralded on the handheld and not on the tablet or the PC.
Thank you very much. I hope we all benefited from, I think, the tremendous insights that our panelists shared with us. Thank you very much, everybody.
Well, dear friends, the Economic Times, through various trend-setting initiatives, has always connected with leading business players and dynamic corporate leaders. And our one initiative last year was the ET Best Brands, which was exactly in this direction of connecting with leading brands and also recognizing their effort and leadership. Through this initiative, we have recognized the top 200 brands shaping the Indian marketplace and launched a coffee table book incorporating the brand DNA of top 100 leading brands of India. So today, we take that step ahead in this direction by introducing the ET Promising Brands, which aspires to recognize the brilliance of young brands in India. And before we share those details, I'd also like to invite on stage, we're joined by our guest of honor here, the very stunning Soha Ali Khan. Can we have a huge round of applause as I invite her on the dais? And may I also invite Mr. Deepak Lamba, President, TCL BCCL. For ET Promising Brands, we've collaborated with the Nielsen Group with an objective to study 400 brands that have entered the market in or after the year 2000, and since then have created their own niche market in the audience. So further, they've seen great promise as well. Now, of these 200 brands were chosen and underwent research on same parameters. So based on the survey, the final list was compiled and consisted of 100 young brands, of which the success story of 60 brands have been chronicled in the coffee table book, which will be unveiled today. So ladies and gentlemen, on that note, I'm going to request the stunning Soha Ali Khan as well as Mr. Deepak Lamba to unveil the coffee table book for all of us this afternoon. This is the coffee table book that we've been waiting for that actually shares with us the brand DNA of top 100 leading brands of India. So let's have the coffee table books on the dais as well. All right, so we're all set in 3, 2, and 1. Let's have a huge round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. We're all set for the felicitation ceremony. We're going to go ahead and felicitate the top promising brands. Let's begin with our first promising brand for the afternoon. Let's have a huge round of applause for AGL, Asian Granito Limited. Up next, ladies and gentlemen, let's have a round of applause for Bajaj Alliance Life Insurance. Keep the applause going for our next promising brand, Cigna TTK Health Insurance. Well, travel becomes hassle-free thanks to our next promising brand, Go Ibibo. Okay, so we got to move ahead again, and let's hear it for Reliance General Insurance. And time to also recognize the brilliance of the next young brand in India. Let's hear it for SsangYong Rexton by Mahindra. Okay, then moving on to our next promising brand. Well, I love it. It's so chocolicious because it is Schmitten. In terms of being a promising brand from the Tata family, let's hear it for Tata Tiscon. The next promising brand has actually kept a lot of families happy. So let's hear it for Toyota Etios Family Cars. All right, then on that note, it's also time to felicitate our next promising brand. In the last 10 years, they've really pioneered themselves in the banking industry. Let's hear it for Yes Bank. Well, we just mentioned bank, and that also brings us to our next promising brand, which is Axis Bank. Let's have a huge round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. All right, so then on that note, it's also time to felicitate our final brand this afternoon. Ladies and gentlemen, let's have a round of applause for Tata Swatch. All right, congratulations indeed. Can we have a huge round of cheer for all our wonderful, promising brands? Thank you so much.
If you want to be a successful brand, you should deliver what you promise on the brand, what you promise in the brand. I mean, today if you take diabetic nutrition, we are number one in the country. If you take pregnancy lactation, we are number one in the country. It's a great honor. This will going to go a long way because we believe in quality. So if you struggle hard with a willpower to produce a quality product, I feel we need not to worry about the competition. When I started this company, Novartis, Abbott, Nestle, everybody were there, but still we are named to Recon Pan India. So any medical shop you can go, ask for British Biological, they will be very proud to help you.
First and foremost, I would like to thank my consumer at large, because we, being an ice cream industry, are very much associated with the fact that the consumers hold us value into what we are doing. We are known as a very innovative ice cream brand, whereby we not only bring what is there in the Indian platter, but we literally scan the globe for what is best available and adapt what is available to suit the Indian platter. Innovation has been our forte, our USP, where we pride ourselves as being one of the most innovative ice cream brands in India, and that's the reason why in the short span of just about 10 years, we have been recognized by solvers like Economic Times to be known as a promising brand.
Well, I think I found the event interesting in two parts. I think first of all, I think the conversations that this event had with the panelists, and the fact that we're talking about newer brands and promising brands, I think those were interesting conversations. And the second thing is, of course, for the people who got this award as a recognition of the work that they've done the last year. They know they're on the right track. They know they made the right promises, and they need to now go forward and keep them. So I think it's a huge motivation for all the teams that have worked on it. We feel great. It's a promise that we've made to the Indian consumer, and we hope to live up to that promise. So we've just started the journey 1 year back, and we're looking to many more exciting things going forward.
When reputed brands like Economic Times recognizes people who are doing well in their respective fields, it really gives a lot of motivation and inspiration for a lot of other upcoming brands to do their best. And that's how the competition develops, and competition breeds good results. Today, Mango is well accepted by a lot of customers out there, and this honor that we received from Economic Times is also a testimony of our acceptance by the people and the trust that they have in our brand.